We can talk again at the end, where people want to hang around at the end, we can talk at the end. Okay, Jose.
Okay, Patrick, can you start are you recording already?
I just started.
Okay, so I want to change to my other camera. And this is the painted robin.
Jose,
Yes.
are you painting a male or female? The males have a darker blackish head. The females have a lighter gray head.
Oh, you did your research. That's a very good question. I thought they're quite similar, huh? Males and females.
Yeah, quite similar, but in the height of the breeding time, the males have a much darker blackish head.
Oh yeah, well,
this is a neutral one, eh? It's a gender
yeah,
neutral.
it's a kind of a difficult question to answer.
I was just joking, sorry.
Okay, so actually this is going to be short because painting is not that complicated. It's kind of a personal experience painting the carvings. So I want to follow what I wrote in the pamphlet, which is basically 3 parts. First, I'm going to do a demonstration of how I paint. Then we're going to paint the body, and then we're going to paint the eye. Painting the eye is a little bit more difficult because it's small, but besides of that, it's similar. So I'm going to start talking about painting, okay? The first thing is I paint with acrylics. There are some other types of paintings like oils or stains, but I use acrylics. And according to the table I gave you, we will need 7 acrylic paints. So there are many manufacturers of paintings, and I normally use folk art paints. Here I'm going to show you one by one the 7 colors that we use. Just let me. With my list. Okay. Okay, my list starts with let me see. Okay, medium gray is the number 1. Here. This is a medium gray. There's a second one is steel gray, which is similar, a little bit lighter. Pure orange. Medium yellow. Titanium white. Dark brown. And last but not least, the pure black. I'm using a variation of black, but black is black. So these are the 7 colors that we use to paint the robin. There are 2 types of painting. One I call diluted color painting, in which we apply diluted paint. When I started carving 5 to 6 years ago, my first carving was a figure, and I paint with full color the paint. It was really difficult, spent a lot of paint, and at the end, the figure had a kind of a cross of paint. So I learned that paint should be diluted to have a better appearance. Okay, so I want to talk about 4 issues here, and I'm going to show one by one these issues. The first issue is painting with the grain. What's the meaning of painting of the grain? Here I have a piece of wood, and I want to paint this piece of wood. I know this paint is composed of fibers, so if I amplify 1,000 times this piece of wood, I will have something like this. Okay, this will be a row of 6 fibers. This is a simple model. If you paint a square piece of wood, it's completely different if you're painting what I call across the grain section than along the grain. Across the grain, across the grain acts like a sponge, so it absorbs all the paint immediately, while along the grain requires 3 or 4 strokes of the brush. Otherwise, it not capture the paint. So the first thing is you have to know what section you are painting. If you are painting across the grain or along the grain. Some people solve this issue by sealing the bird, sealing the figure. That's one technique that consists in applying a varnish and covering the whole figure, and then you can paint everywhere. Now the absorption is the same. Monica. Sorry, in my case, I don't seal the wood. I just go straight and paint. Second point is acrylic paint. Well, I already talked about acrylic paint. Acrylic paint needs to be diluted, except some sections that require full color. The third thing is how we dilute the paint. We need a few accessories to dilute our painting. The first accessory is the tray. Some tray that you use to make your dilutions. Second, we need water, because we dilute, you use water for the dilution. So you need a bottle of water. And this bottle has a hole in the center. So it permits me to see how many drops of water I'm using for the dilution. The third is a spoon here, which is a 1-drop spoon. It's a tiny spoon that you can buy in dollar stores or other places, and it contains 1 drop. So the dilution for me is the number of drops of water that I need for 1 drop of paint. I need a jar of water. I use it to wash the brushes. So I have the water, my jar, the spoon, the tray, and I am ready. I prepare a small piece of wood here. So I'm going to paint this square here using diluted pen, color painting. Here. If you take a look at the document that I sent you, let's assume that this square is the chest, the breast of the robin. The breast of the robin, according to the table that I sent you, has in the diluted colors table, we said the breast is pure orange. D means dilution rate is 4 and layers 2. That means I have to dilute with 4 drops of water and apply 2 layers. So I take my bottle of water and I'm going to put 4 drops of water here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 drops of water, and I'm going to use my spoon, get the paint, and get 1 drop of paint. Okay, here I have 1 drop. It's more of a flash, a little bit. And I'm going to mix the paint here. So I put the spoon on the water and use any brush to start the dilution. As soon as I have removed most of the paint of the spoon, I'm going to wash in the water my spoon and dry with a piece of water. Oh, I forgot to mention I have the towels. So my spoon is ready for the next dilution. It's clean again, and I have here the paint ready to be applied. I still have to stir it. If you have any question, I can stop and we can discuss, because I'm sure I can learn a lot from all you masters. Okay, I will want to clean my brush. Always clean your brushes immediately so you don't have dry paint on the brushes. And I'm going to paint here. The painting is quite direct. Just take the paint and first apply to the center of the area. More or less here. And then I get the pointed brush and I paint the borders. Because the painting has to go just up to the edges of the grooves that limit the area that we're painting. So I'm painting the borders. The border should include half of the grooves, because the other half is going to be painted with the paint from the other sides. Okay, now that I paint more or less the border, I come back to my initial brush and do another passing to have a uniform paint. Now I don't need to worry about the borders because it's okay. Here's one layer of painting. The fact that I said that you need 2 layers means you have to wait. I'm washing my brushes. We wait 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And then we apply the second layer. That is the way I paint the bird. I believe it's quite simple. Let's say 5 minutes pass already. So time to apply a second layer. Same thing. I need to wait a little bit more, but basically that's the idea. Wash the brush. And that's it. So that's what I do for every one of the regions of the bird, except the eyes. Eyes require a different way of painting. So now I'm going to show you how I paint the eyes. And in order to do that, I'm going to paint this section, this small square here, using my second method of painting, which I call full color painting. Full color painting requires to apply full color on the areas that you're going to paint. So you don't need to dilute the paint, but you need water to have the paint flowing. Without water, the paint doesn't flow. But the method is quite similar. I'm going to use any color, let's say, for example, this brown. I'm going to use a brown to use full color on this square. So what I do is get my spoon and get more or less 1 drop of paint. Okay, here I have 1 drop of paint. And put this paint anywhere in my tray. Like here. That should be okay. Wash my spoon and wash the brush. Now I get 2 or 3 drops of water and put somewhere. Doesn't matter. There. So I have the paint, full paint, and the water here. The moment I want to paint, I get any brush. I use a small brush. I just wet the brush and get the paint from the border of this drop of paint. But I'm not diluting, I'm just trying to get the whole color and start painting. I can paint the borders if I want, but that's the way I do the full color painting. And that's my second method that I use to paint the eyes. And that's basically it. I think I went too fast, but that's okay. some indications. The first thing, when you are painting a bird, or when painting everything, always have a piece of wood. So if you want to know how it's going to be the paint, paint some region in the piece of wood, so you will see how it's going to look like. Always test the color before you apply to the bird. Once you have applied, it's very difficult to change that. Can be done, but it's very, very difficult. So I will recommend to test the color and see how it's going to look. Okay. Those are the two methods that I use to paint. I want to show you that. Diluted color and full color. The difference is in the amount of paint that you put, and the effect will be different in the bird. Okay, now we're going to start painting the body of the bird. I'm not going to paint two small sections of body. So what I will do is I will use what I have prepared in the first presentation, which is an eye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that all this region is the head of the bird, and the head of the bird is almost black. So I'm going to paint around the eye with the black color or the dark gray. In order to do that, I have to see my table, and the table tells me that that's a color number 1. The color number 1 is medium gray, dilution 4, plus some pure black to darken the color, because the medium gray is not dark enough. So I'm going to dilute first the color. I have more than 1 jar of water, so I can use a second jar of water here. First, I dilute the medium gray with 4 drops of water. So get my bottle and put 1, 2, 3, and 4. Four drops of water by 1 drop of medium gray paint. Medium gray is this one. And I'm going to dilute the medium gray here. As soon as I remove all the paint from the spoon, I wash my spoon, dry it with a towel, and the spoon is ready for the next. I continue diluting. But this is not the color that I want. it needs to be darker. That's why I need a black color. This is the black. So I don't need one drop, just a very tiny part. It's okay if you get one drop. From here, you need a tiny brush, and just get a little bit of black and mix. And you will notice that it starts darkening. I test with my piece of wood, still not that dark, so I'll put a little bit more of black. Ensure that you're mixing the whole amount of paint, otherwise one region will be different from the other. Okay, so I'm going to test again. More or less it's okay. So now I'm ready to paint the head of the bird. So I just this, I need now to wash my sometimes I just use a screwdriver or something very, very thin. If I don't want to use too much of a dark color. Okay, the spoon ready. I'm cleaning my hand because I will start painting around the eye. I can invade a little bit the eye cavity if I want. There's nothing, no consequences at all. What I'm doing is carving what I think it could be the head of the bird.
Hey, Jose, we can't quite see what you're painting in the in your camera shot there.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Now, if you take a look at the table said the head should have 2 layers of paint. So first I apply 1 layer of painting here. And I have to wait until it is dry and then to the second. Normally you can paint part of the eye channel with the same color because there. Wash my always keep your accessories ready for the next step. Your spoon should be always clean and the brush is also clean, so the next can start. The next step can start. Let's see, if you take a look at the bird, what we're doing is we're painting the surroundings of the eye. That's all we're doing. but I have to wait until it's dry. So I'm going to put this here. You can see that what we're painting is this area of the, we're painting the size of the fibers. That's why the paint is not immediately absorbed by the wood. We're painting the walls of the fibers, not inside the fibers. That's why we have to wait at least one more layer. So we have to wait some time. Well, I forgot to mention something. Now it's time to mention that. Before we start painting, we have to clean the, well, first, we have to decide if we want to sand or not the bird. Sanding is an option that many people use, and it's a completely valid option. But if you sand, you have to go to the end. You cannot leave sanding in the middle, because then you will have a smooth surface, and your surfaces will still have scratches and irregularities. So if you decide to go sanding, things that I don't do, I don't sand, but if you decide to sand, you have to go to the end until it's clean. It's, the word is immaculate. So you have to start with some grit and keep going up or finer until you have a very, very fine sand, and then you sand. Or you sand your, Rick, you sand your birds, right? Rick, oh. Well,
Looks
anyway.
like frozen, maybe. You there, Rick?
Rick,
I think you're on mute.
you're on mute, Rick. The sound, Rick, you have to.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, Rick, do you sand
Yeah.
your birds? I want to write so he can see.
Can you hear us, Rick?
Yeah,
Okay, Jose was asking if you sand your birds.
if I sand my birds,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I sand them. And then I do all the burning on them.
How long it take, compare with carving, how long it takes for you to sand the carving?
I carve them with a knife. Like, I don't know if you can see that. All the feathers.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, okay. I was all carved, all those feathers was carved with this here 2-inch blade.
Mhm.
Can you see it there?
Yep.
See how
Okay.
the detail goes through?
Yeah.
I'll start burning some of that. But it was all carved with a knife. And
Yes.
it's the knife is sharp enough that it makes the feathers nice and smooth.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to do the second layer of painting of the eye. I have to pack again. Okay, this is diluted painting. The paint is diluted and darkened with black. If you don't have these two grays. You can make your own grays by mixing black and white. So actually you need only 5 bottles of paint. Okay, now we're going to stop and we're going to give you half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. So you start painting your bird. You don't need to paint the whole bird, just some sections is enough. And we can talk about that. So we're going to stop for 20 minutes. Get some coffee if you're not painting, and we will continue later.
Hey,
While you are painting, I can show you something interesting. I'm working on 2 more birds. I'm doing this is it's the red-breasted nuthatch. I'm still working on it. Same method that I use for the robin, except that the position is different. It's smaller, the eyes are smaller. And I'm also working on a blue heron. This is a great blue heron. In the case of the heron, I put the neck retracted because I don't want a weak structure when the neck is too separated from the body. So the neck is resting on the body, on the back of the bird. And that way it's solid, strong.
mhm.
And other experiences, I have had weak structures where the neck is long and too separated from the body. And maybe in the autumn, we can do another session and I'll show you how to do those other birds. And well, we will see. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that when we carve, we have some grease in the hand. And this grease gradually enters into the wood and makes the carving, gives the carving a little bit dirty appearance. So we have to clean the carving before we paint. What I do is I clean with, I'm going to put here, this is the simple green cleaner. I have my own brush here, so I just spray the whole carving with this cleaner and then brush it, and it leaves the carve perfectly for painting. So always clean your carvings before you start painting. The paints adheres better. It's much recommended. And the whole bottle costs $5. I always keep my brush together with the bottle so I don't lose my brush. And it can come and go because I put 2 layers of tape here. The tape inside is facing up, so it won't adhere to the handle of the brush. Very important to clean your carving before you start painting.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll continue later and in 15 minutes. And then I'm going to paint the eye, which is, in my opinion, the most important or the most critical part. Now that another thing that I would like to mention to you is this is a small sample of how is going to be the range of fibers inside the wood. And I put here a groove, kind of a groove. Okay. If you see, for some reason, my image is the opposite, but when you carve a groove, you take your V tool and just go from one side to another in a diagonal. Let's assume that we have to do a diagonal groove, and we carve the groove by just pushing the tool from one edge to the other. In this case, the grain is horizontal. We're assuming that the fibers are horizontal, and the groove is diagonal. It will carve very beautifully one side, but the other side will be very bad. So you said, well, maybe I should reverse the direction. So now I carve from top down. But then it's going to happen the opposite. One side is going to be perfect, but the other will be bad. So how can we carve a groove which is diagonal to the fiber? Well, first, we have to carve a very shallow groove, and then we need 2 passes of the V tool. And we rotate the V tool around its axis in one direction first and then the other. So in both passes, you are carving only one side of the groove. And that way you have both cuts with the grain. So big tools also need to know how is the grain in order to cut clean grooves. If you don't do that, when you're painting, you will notice that some grooves are fine, but some grooves start showing some fuzzing. So we need to know exactly what's the direction of the grain when we carve grooves. Okay, so in 15 minutes, we will continue.
Hey, folks, I'm going to sign off for now.
Okay,
Okay.
it was good to see you, Eric.
Yeah,
See you
you
later,
get in
Eric.
touch, okay? Sue,
Hmm?
get in touch
Pardon me?
then get in touch about the knife.
I will for sure. Yeah, I got it
Okay.
right here to remind me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. See you again.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Eric.
Bye.
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 You want out? You gotta go out again? Ugh.
Well, Ford's supposed to be giving his next announcement in about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Another lockdown,
Pardon me?
another lockdown.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, there's all kinds of speculation about, curfews and that kind of stuff. So I guess we'll see what he's got in mind.
What kind of duck are you doing, Bob?
Pardon?
What kind of duck are you doing there, or bird? What are you carving?
This, you talking to me? That's
Yeah.
an old squaw duck.
Oh, okay.
An old squaw. I got too much slate on it. I don't know.
Oh, that's you, right? I got you and Bob mixed up. So what kind of duck did you say it was?
An old squaw.
Okay.
I guess you can see the feathers. I guess it's too bright.
Yeah, I can see it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and I got a couple of loons. That's my summer projects.
Yeah.
He's got his mouth open. These here guys here are only about 10 inches long. I
Nice.
keep 4 or 5 projects going at the same time. I got a blue jay out there in the back room that I've been working on for about 3 years. Wings open and the wings down, eh? And I loaned somebody the pattern and the painting instructions to somebody in the bloody club. I never got him back, so he's just hanging on a hook.
Right, right.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've got
back here pretty soon.
I've got so many loons. Bruce Williams gave me 3 of his carved loons. And then I've got about 2 of my own. And we got 1 million loons at the cottage people have given us. So kind of like Loon City around our place.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find you. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I got you now, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a bunch of loons. At one time, I was in a loon craze, and I made 22 of them. And I said, geez, I hope I never see another loon in my life.
Well, those spots on the back are very hard to do. Actually, they look like they're going to be easy, but they're not.
Yeah, but they sell well.
Yes, that's for sure.
Okay, well, I'm back. So
You're back?
now
Okay.
we're going to paint the eye of
Everybody
the
quit.
bird.
Okay. Right.
Okay. But make more light here.
The boss is back.
Yeah, we have to get to work.
Okay, back to work.
No more talking in the classroom.
Back to work.
Okay. I'm going to use the document that I sent you before. And in the document, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. We need 4 steps to paint the eye. Step number 1, which is this step A in the document, says paint a broken ring inside the eye cavity with full color number 7, which is white. We don't paint the whole cavity, just some. We need to leave some free sections because it's a broken ring. So I'm going to use white here. And I'm going to use full color, so I get my spoon and get around 1 drop of paint. More than enough. I put some more in my dilution table, in my dilution tray. Here. My spoon. And I wash my brush. And now I put 3 or 4, couple drops of water somewhere, just to have the paint flowing, and use. So first I wet the brush and get some paint, and go to the eye, and start painting. I may need some light here, so I don't know. This light is going to be too much, but. If we make a mistake, we can use a knife or just clean the paint. Let's see if we can see the white. ring around the eye. You can use a thinner brush. Okay, so that's step A. To paint a white ring around the eye. That's enough. Wash the brush and there's some discussion about which color should we apply first when you are painting or carving. Some people say apply first the light colors because the dark colors create better edges. But in this case, I'm going to paint first the dark color that defines the surrounding of the eye and the center dot, which is the pupil. I am going to use black. So my color number 8 is pure black. Again, this is full color. It's not diluted, but I need water to flow the paint. That's the only reason why I use water, to have the paint flowing. In theory, I have to wait until it's dry, but let's assume that it's dry. So I'm going to apply a full color black, which corresponds to step B. I get the paint, get 1 drop of paint. Put somewhere in the tray here. There. I wash my brush and my spoon. Put 2 or 3 drops of water here and start painting the black border around the eye. We need a very thin brush. First, wet the brush and then get the paint. And all I have to do is first I have to do a center point. And the surroundings of the eye. It's okay if you make some mistake, you have to use your knife and clean it. Oh, that should be fine. I want my brush. The water in my jar is not for diluting. It's just for cleaning. For dilution, I have my own bottle. So that's the step number B. I'm always correct if you discover that there's some section that have not been painted properly. If you don't like how it is after you paint it, use your knife, preferably a very small knife, and remove some sections of the wood until you have a perfect rounded circle. I don't think it's necessary, but could be. And now we go to the third step, which is to paint the iris with full color number 6. Color number 6 is dark brown. So I'm going to repeat what I have done with here with dark brown. Dark brown is this. I'm going to put 1 drop of paint on my tray.
I'm going to butt in for a second. I'm sorry, I have to leave. I just found a dead bird on my deck.
Was it
Okay.
a rock?
A really beautiful bird. I don't know what happened to it. I guess it ran into the window. So I will see you guys all next time.
Okay, well, you take it easy.
Yeah, it's great to see everyone.
Yeah,
Okay.
you too.
Take care and stay safe.
Bye, Dee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right.
Now I'm going to paint the iris of the eye. Get 1 drop of paint. I'm going to put it here. Wash. And put some drops of water. and start painting. First, I wet the brush and then get the paint. Okay. Again, put some paint in the brush. And finally, okay. One layer is enough. And I have painted the eye. Finally, we need to put a white dot of paint using a toothpick to give some life to the eye, because the way it is still has no life, this eye. It needs some white dot. So here is a toothpick. What I do normally is I get a knife and narrow the tip of the toothpick. But in this case, it's okay because it's not the right size. It's a big size of eye. Same thing, I'm going to use a white, put one drop of paint in my tray. In this case, I don't need to dilute the paint, not even need water, because I'm just going to put a dot. So I just put it here, collect the paint here. You can see, and just let's assume we're going to be here. There. Now the eye is finished, and now it has life. So that's it. That's basically the whole procedure to paint the bird. And now you can spend the rest of the time painting. If you have any question or You can use the chat maybe, or if you have any suggestion how to improve this, I would gladly.
I have one for
No.
you, Jose.
Yes.
Okay, now if you take that eye, you've got it painted. Go steal your wife's clear nail polish and put a few drops on top of that eye, and it'll look just like a glass eye.
Yeah, you apply this.
And a
This-
hair dryer helps too, eh, to get your
Yes, yes,
colors mixed quicker.
yes,
Like you can dry that off quick with a hair dryer, then just
yes.
put a few drops of clear nail polish on top of that, and it'll look just like a glass eye.
Yeah, that will, then you have a bright eye, right?
Okay?
Then the eye will be very bright.
Yeah, it'll be nice and bright. It will stick
Yeah,
right
it's a good improvement. Yes, yes.
I do that sometime whenever I carve cats and stuff.
Do you
I
put
just
the
carve the eye
white?
in and then
Yeah.
paint it and clear nail polish and
Or Rick, you put the white dot first?
no, I don't bother putting the white dot because the clear nail polish will give you that little bit of a gleam
Okay.
anyway.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah,
Any lights hits it, you'll get that natural gleam.
yeah. Yeah, that's an option. In this case, I always put the white dot. Without the white dot, the eye will be dead. It won't have life. But yes, the nail polish could be also equivalent. Huh?
Yeah, I've been doing this nonsense since 1944. That's whenever I started carving.
How many birds have you already carved?
I've carved 193 chickadees alone. 35 cardinals.
Well, I have carved
Nuthatches. I lost count.
a very small quantity. Actually, I have carved around 100 birds. And
Well, I've carved about close to 300, I guess, altogether. And I'm still learning.
yes. By the way, talking about learning, it's always a good idea to keep our old carvings because we learn a lot from them. They are a source of improvement because when we review what we have done 3, 4, or 10 years ago, we can understand where we went. And the other thing that I always do, and I recommend everybody to do, is to show your carvings to people and ask for opinions, ask for critics, and tell them no encouragement comments because they don't help us to improve. If everybody is using only encouragement, then we believe we're okay and we may not. So
If you
always
can't take criticism, you better not ask.
we need, because and the best people to criticize is your possible buyers, because I sell my birds in Manotick in the in a gift store in Manotick, and it's very important to listen your future buyers, because they will tell you what birds they want and how they want the birds. So we better listen to them.
That's right.
You know, they are going to buy later your birds.
Customer's always right.
Yes, yes, they are the boss.
Yeah.
It's just like Rita's your boss, eh?
Yeah.
Don't say that. She's sitting in the next room.
When you say it's important to keep your first carving, I have right back here on my shelf. This was the very first time I ever picked up a knife, was this lovely thing.
Well, wait for a second. I'll go show you my first carving in 1944. I was in grade 7. I'll get it.
Well,
for you.
this one I did at Lee Valley with John Bowser, and it was an
Oh, if you see
introduction.
my first carving.
Yeah, that was, I'd never touched a knife before. I've got all these little cuts and practices on the back, but that's the, and I just thought this was beautiful. So, but I keep them up here on top of my
Yes,
totem
I
pole.
always keep my old carvings. It's very important because they teach me a lot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay, Jose, there's my completed robin. There it is.
Well, I don't know if you, there. That
Oh,
was,
my
I
God.
was in grade 7. That's the very first carvings I ever did.
Well, they're a whole heck of a lot better than my first one.
yeah, mine are similar, even worse. Yeah.
No, I haven't improved a damn bit.
Oh, Rick, probably
the-
you didn't have enough critics.
Yeah. But grade 7, what the hell?
Yeah, really.
I was
Great.
lucky. I had an Indian teacher by the name of Pontiac in Kent Street School on called Goshen School on Kent Street.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And his course in wood carving was carve a little man and a woman.
That's funny.
And I've been at it ever since. And I got that first set of chisels that I bought back in grade 7. I still use them.
Really? Wow.
So I got the chisels are all antiques, just like me. 89 in 2 weeks.
Wow. Good for you.
Do you do any more men and women?
Hey?
You do any more men and women like you did the first one?
Oh, well, you never know.
Just to compare them.
You were showing something there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm showing my my carved.
Oh, nice.
There it is. I put
Turned
it.
out well.
I had the oranges. I didn't have those same paints, so I mixed up a few of the Joe Sanyo's paints and got that sort of a little more reddish color to the breast.
That's okay. That's the way they are at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The province at the end of the summer become darker. Oh, Brian, did you put the white dot?
Yeah, I got the dot in the eye.
Oh, yeah, I know. I see it now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Beautiful, huh? Yeah,
Very nice.
very nice.
I'm going to ask all you guys to make sure you bring those to the next show and tell.
Yeah.
Make sure you bring all your pieces because it's good for people that maybe don't attend the clutch on a regular basis to see what we're doing. Maybe it'll encourage people to
Yes.
come out more. Yeah.
And
So by
me,
all means,
new members too.
bring them all out.
Yep.
The only thing I should have done better, Jose, is to make it smoother around the eye so the paint looked better.
Okay, I'll give you one hint. If you want to carve better the eye cavity, you may need a spoon gouge because that will have
Yeah.
some curvature. So,
Right.
but that's a
I
refinement.
do have some curved ones, but
Yeah,
I thought it was smooth, but when I started painting it, it wasn't.
yeah,
But the
No.
rest of it's okay.
yeah. It's very good. Yeah. So you
I just left the carve. I just left the carved markings on the breast, and that I like that. I like that effect. That didn't sound.
Yes, I like that also. Yeah. Now, you can print the mirror image of the pattern and then you carve the other side. So we can carve right view or left view.
Yeah, that's true. You can do it that way. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll put a magnet on the back and put it on my fridge, I guess.
Very good, very good. Yes.
Excellent.
I put a magnet on mine from Lee Valley, but the darn thing came off, so I had to put some glue on behind the magnet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
Just one word about the magnets. Always ensure that the magnet doesn't scratch your fridge. So it's better if the magnet has some, I don't know how, bezel around, so it's fridge friendly. You can buy fridge friendly magnets. They will never scratch your fridge.
Yeah, but I'm in
I use you know, those magnetic cards you get from some of the businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Them and I stick them back on my stuff for the fridge.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm in competition with my grandkids though, so mine will get lost in all their stuff on the fridge.
So are you also carving a bird?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm carving up some of these guys here, these pumpkins for this lady that ordered some from me. So I got this far while we were talking. So, yeah, just kind of getting started on this one. Yeah, she ordered 3 Santas. They're done. One's painted, 2 aren't. And now I'm just getting 3 of these done, and then I'll be finished with that. So it'll be good to get them out. Yeah, on their way.
The first one I did, I put the magnet in the wrong spot, and when I put it on the fridge, in the movement, it tilted. So I had to put a pin in to find the right spot.
Yes. That spot is the gravity center of the bird.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on my first one.
Yeah. So you have carved 2, right?
But I carved 6 of them all together now.
Oh,
Give them to my grandchildren.
nice, nice.
We're on a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it in their Easter bag.
Good idea.
It's like those Santas that I was talking about that I did. I think it was a year ago. I carved 1, and over the course of the summer, I carved 56 of them.
Wow.
And Kathy and I had a table at one of the shows at St. Mike's, and I sold almost all of them there. And it was, God, I couldn't believe when I started carving another one for this lady. I said I'd never carve those things again after that.
Yeah.
56 of them and painted.
Wow.
So these ones are bigger, but yeah.
The other thing is with time, you will develop your own style and start putting some things that are unique to you.
Oh yeah, these Santas look totally different than the ones that I started carving. Yeah, the ones that I do now, they look totally different, but same basic idea, you know. Santa, it's pretty hard to change him up, but yeah. But I find some of my caricature stuff that are just one of a kind, like I don't go off the pattern or whatever. Yeah, you definitely develop your own style.
Yes,
and people can recognize it without.
People recognize that.
Yeah, I get that from people on Instagram sometimes. They say, oh, as soon as I saw the picture, I knew it was yours. Yeah.
Lou, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Not to do with wood carving. Who the hell did your wiring job?
Oh.
Did that pass?
Oh yeah, it did twice.
Did it pass inspection? I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm a half-assed electrician myself, and that is one mess of wires I can see.
Well, you know what that is up top? That's the real mess. That's one wire. It is the longest piece of cable. It's not even hooked up to the panel. The panel is actually all down at the side, and they go in this way. That's just cable from the TV. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's not wire for because the cable box is directly below. God. Yeah, no, all the stuff that goes into the panel is all, it's nice and straight. It goes down and
Yeah,
then
but-
straight
yeah, but
in.
you can see the wires going up, eh? And it looks like it's one just huge mess.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, it is that the top part there where the TV stuff is a disaster. That's
I
what
want,
that all is, cable wire.
Brian, if you take a look, this is the tool that I use to clean the cavity if
Yeah,
it's a number 3 3 millimeters spoon gouge. So
yeah,
this
I think I
perfect
might have,
to give some curvature inside the cavity.
right,
And it also removes all the fuzz around the cavity before you paint. So that's a very useful tool. It's a refinement, but anyway, that's what I use.
yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have one like that. I was going to say on the paints, on the acrylic paints, I've had these Joe Sanyos for about 22
Yes.
or 5 years, and they're still good. Every one of them still good. Whereas I have a lot in the metal tubes, and they're dried up and gone. So I would really suggest people keep with these heavy.
Yeah.
It's a heavy plastic. Now you've used the folk art ones. I have some of those too. And I think they're a little bit better because they're plastic. But
Yeah.